So we have on the agenda for today, Iyengar Yoga for feet and ankles. Yeah, it may not be the most exciting practice you've ever done, but it is really important work. Yeah, we gotta send some love to our feet. Sometimes underappreciated, but very, very important to us, right? So yeah, that's what today's practice is about. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope your feet really enjoy it. Feet and ankles. Ready? Let's get to it. Let's begin with a sequence to warm up the feet just a little bit. Okay, so sit in a comfortable position. You can sit on the floor. You can also do this seated in a chair. That's no problem. And then cross one leg over the other so that you have access to your feet. Okay, you can reach your feet with your hands. And then to begin with here, all I want you to do is take your thumbs and literally use your thumbs here on the bottom of your foot and move around, right? Move around, kind of massage the bottom of your foot. Just go in there a little bit. Feel what's happening, move around, and get in there. Okay, you can do this for a little bit. And then after you've done that, then make this shape. Can you see it? This shape with your fingers, and you're gonna use the tips of your fingers, your fingernails, and prick the bottom of your foot, and just move up and down. And here, it's like you're using your hands here to sensitize the bottom of your foot. Right? I like this one. It feels really quite nice, almost refreshing. Okay, so just up and down, move around. Yeah. Okay, and then after you've done that for a little bit, then take your fingers and work your fingers here in between your toes. Okay, and the idea is to really get, just trying to figure out here what's the best view for you here. You want to really get your fingers down into the webbing. So the knuckle is the thickest part of your finger. So if you really want to challenge your toes here, try to get the knuckle right down there and work them right down to the webbing. Okay, and then once your hands are in position, for right now, stabilize the ankle. Don't make this an ankle exercise, but work into the toe joint. So I'm stabilizing the ankle, and I'm just taking my hand here and moving back and forth, back and forth. Okay, and work into the toe joints just a little bit. Okay, and keep going with it. A little bit more, forward and back. Okay, and then once you've gone forward and back a few times, okay, then you can also do some circles. Okay, and again, notice I've got the ankle stabilized. So I'm not doing an ankle exercise. The ankle is stable, but I'm trying to move those toe joints around. Okay, move them around. Do some circles to the right, and then circles to the left. Okay, and then just before you release, take your fingers and spread your fingers in between your toes. Okay, it's such a common instruction in Iyengar Yoga to broaden across the toe mounds, right? So when you spread your fingers here between your toe mounds, between your toes, feel that width, right? That width that comes here across the toe mounds. All right, and then release your fingers and extend your leg. Okay, so then have a look at what's happening, right? Look at your foot, spread your toes, spread your toe mounds, and just observe the difference between the foot that you worked on and the foot that you haven't yet worked on. Okay, look at it and also feel. Feel how alert, how sensitive that foot is in compared to the other one. So even just a little bit of work, just a little bit of movement, getting in there, it's gonna create a response, right? Okay, then release, and now let's do this whole sequence again on the other side. So cross the other leg over, and again, starting with the thumbs, massage the bottom of your foot, Work in there. Okay, you may find you have one joint that's a little bit stiff, maybe a bit arthritic or something, right? So it'll be a little sore. You just be mindful of that. You can work into it a little bit. I know for me, the big toe joints can get like that. They can get extra stiff, right? So I work into it a little bit extra, right? Like so. And then sometimes I'll even like take my index finger here and start to move to the side, right? That's another thing I like to do. Move to the side to try to get that big toe joint really kind of exercised. Okay, so you've got the thumbs going, you do that for a little bit, then you're gonna make that cup shape, use the fingernails and prick the bottom of the foot, prick, 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 up and down, do this for a little bit, move all the way around. And then once you've done that, then go for fingers between the toes. Okay, so take your fingers, work them right down to the webbing, breathe into it, right? For some people, this will be no problem. For others, it can be a bit intense to get the fingers in there. Okay, and if you find that it is really intense, okay, this might sound like a bit of a funny suggestion, but if you happen to take baths, and you have your hands all soapy, then you can do this with soapy hands, right? Because it'll be a little more slippery and you can really get in there. So you can try that. Okay, and then just go forward and back, stabilizing the ankle. Forward and back, forward and back. Okay, and then once you feel you've done that a bunch, you can go for the circles. Okay, do some circles to the right. And then circles to the left as well, right? And see, right? So here, this joint too, I sometimes doesn't like to go in that direction, so I'm just doing that same thing where I'm trying to move the big toe away from the midline. Yeah. Okay, and then spread your fingers between your toes, release, and extend your legs to straight. Okay, and then again, have a look at the fruits of your labor. Okay, look at your feet, spread your toes, broaden across your toe mounds, and just notice for yourself, see which toes easily spread, where can the message land really easily, and maybe is there, some toes that are not quite moving. Okay, the feet are really important, right? Every step we take starts at the bottom of the foot. And from that step, there's reverberations all the way up. So it can affect, the spine, the neck, every part of the body. So it's really important that we learn how to take advantage of the feet in a good way, how to utilize the feet to our advantage. Okay, so now stand yourself up. Okay, take your mat and roll it up so that you have it on the floor here, and then stand with your toe mounds up on that roll. Heels are down, toe mounds are up. Okay, and you'll notice I've got my feet about hip distance apart, and then just stand here for a moment in Tadasana. So now we're starting to challenge the ankles a little bit. Okay, so you can hook the toe mounds, you can even lift your toes a little bit, spread, but now shift the weight back onto your heels. Okay, and be here for a second. Be here and observe the response. Okay, feel what's happening on the front of your legs. And then press your knees and thighs back, but from the middle of your buttock, cut forward. So thighs back, buttock forward, and then find the lift here that comes through the pubic area. Okay, be here, Tadasana, breathe. Okay, now take your hands to your hips, wrap your elbows back and lift your chest. Okay, now from here, keeping these absolutely straight legs, hinge forward. Now pretend like your buttock starts almost below, right, by your, middle of the back thighs, and start to lift the back of the thighs up and push forward, right, because the tendency will be for the hips to fall back. So lift from the back of the thighs, and push forward, push forward, push forward, and lower yourself into Ardha Uttanasana. Okay, and then, you know, anything you lost on the way down, if you ended up with the hips really far back, readjust. Find straight legs here. Okay, pound into your heels, lift the front of your legs up, rotate your upper arms out, move your chin and chest forward. Okay, Ardha Uttanasana. Okay, now just drop your head and look at your legs. Okay, look at your knees. Imagine that each knee has 4 corners and move them back evenly. So inner knee and outer knee, go back. From the back of your legs, lift up to the buttocks and press your knees and thighs back. Ardha Uttanasana. Okay, now maintain these strong legs here. Take one hand to your hip, pound into those heels, other hand to your hip, wrap the elbows back, and with a lifted chest, come back up. Okay, carefully step down and be for a moment here in Tadasana with your feet flat. Okay, now let's explore that same sequence, but this time with the heels elevated. Okay, so this time stand up on your roll, feet hip distance apart, and the toe mounds are on the ground. Okay, again, stand in Tadasana. We'll be here, feel it, find it, just as you would if you were flat on the floor. You want to find your center. Okay, so avoid, you know, the lift under the heels is going to propel you forward. That's essentially what's going to happen. So there's different kind of work here to find your center of gravity. Okay, now lift the front of your legs up, kneecaps and thighs up, press the knees and thighs down, but mid-buttock forward, and lift your chest. Tadasana. Okay, now again, take your hands to your hips, wrap your elbows back, and once again, as if your buttock starts halfway down the back of your thighs, start to lift from there, lift up, roll the buttocks up, and then reach forward, breastbone forward, and hinge to about 90 degrees till your torso is parallel to the ground here. Okay, and then take your hands to the floor. If it's not available, of course, you can lift the floor with some bricks or even a chair. Okay, straighten your legs completely. Move your knees back, thighs back, but pull your breastbone through the tunnel of your arms. Okay, slide those shoulder blades away from your neck. Be here for a moment, breathe, feel what's happening, feel where the weight is on your feet, which toe mounds, where the weight goes on the toe mounds there, what's happening with your heel, inner heel, outer heel, just feel how the weight moves around. Also notice this, right, if you're shifting back a little bit, right, because it's a challenge, Push the big toe mound, push the inner heel, find those straight legs, pull your breastbone forward. Okay, you can drop your head, have a look, see that the inner knee, outer knee are moving back evenly. Okay, and then when you're ready to come out here, pressurize your heels into the roller, press that big toe mound, the inner foot, and then one hand to your hip, other hand to your hip, wrap your elbows, and with a lifted chest, come back up. Okay, and then again, step down and stand in Tadasana. Okay, now shift your roll just further back on your mat so that you have a little bit more runway here. And begin again with your toe mounds up on the roll, here like this. Give some space between the legs. Stand up in Tadasana here. Okay, move the knees and thighs back. Resist with the midline of the buttock pushing forward and find that tremendous lift that comes through the front of the body. Okay, then from here, let's go again to Ardha Uttanasana. Okay, from the back of the thighs, lift up to the buttocks, and then like the buttock bones can shift more into the body, forward, come forward, move those hips forward as best as you can, And then come to Ardha Uttanasana. Okay, rotate your upper arm, slide your shoulder blades away from your neck, chin and chest forward. Sharpen the corners of your hips by lifting up, right? And then grow the side waist. Pull forward there, pull forward there. Okay, now from here, let's go to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Okay, so pressing your toe mounts into the roller and heels down, walk forward, and challenge yourself. Go really far forward. Okay, you'll notice my heels have come up. Let them come up if they're gonna come up, not a problem. Don't take such a short pose that because you don't want the heels to come up. Go for a proper distance, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Okay, and then here, with the toe mounts up on this roller, now reach your heels way back. Okay, from the underside of your foot there, lengthen to the back of your heel, to the center back point of your heel, and reach your heels back and down towards the floor. Slipping just a little bit here, yeah, reach back. Okay, push the floor with your hands, rotate your upper arms, and as you push the floor, lift your hips up and back and move those thighs back. Okay, descend into your heels. Challenge your ankles. Breathe. Okay, now with the heels going down, feel almost like you could lift your shin bones up and now move them back. Lift your kneecaps up and now move the knees back. Lift your thighs up, push the floor with your hands, push the floor and now move your thighs back. Thighs back, groins back. Descend into your heels even more. Okay, and then slowly walk your hands towards your feet. Come back to Ardha Uttanasana. Hands to your hip. And with a lifted chest, come back up. Okay, carefully step down. Tadasana. Okay, we're gonna move on for right now, but I did wanna say that you can practice this sequence not just with a rolled mat. You can use other props and it's gonna change things a little bit, right? So, I mean, you may have noticed working with the roller, you know, the foot can slip a little bit, right? So that's good feedback. There's good work there as you're trying to create purchase with the underside of your foot to the rubber, right? So there's something that's good there. But there's also some benefit to working, like you can work here with bricks. You can work with the wood bricks or with the foam bricks. And the brick too, if you can do it against a wall, but you can also do it like this where there isn't a wall, right? And then the challenge of keeping the brick stable is also gonna give you a little bit of feedback and create different responses, okay? So whether it's the Ardha Uttanasana, the Adho Mukha Svanasana, or just standing upright in Tadasana, for homework, I encourage you to try different ways of going about through this similar sequence, okay? Have a strap, couple bricks, they may come in handy, and then make a loop and tie your ankles together. Okay, so you make it nice and snug. Okay, and now we're gonna go through with bent knees, just again, a little bit of work for the feet and ankles. Okay, so for this first variation here, you can kneel and you're going to tuck the toes well under and drop the knees to the ground here. Okay, and then the belt here is just making sure that the ankles don't splay out. So now lift yourself up, try to sit back and try to aim to get one buttock on each heel. So buttock bone, one buttock bone, your left buttock bone on your left heel, right buttock bone on your right heel, and sit back, Okay, now it may be intense, so you can have height and maybe the bricks will work, or maybe you want a taller chair or something, because if you need to take a little bit of the weight off, you know, you can lean a little forward, right? So if you need to, right? But the idea here is to shift the weight back, shift the weight back. Okay, so this is going to challenge those toe joints. And just breathe into it. Okay, and notice how the weight shifts. Okay, so I always find I go way more, I land into my left side more, right? There's some stiffness on the right side, so I'm not quite able to go down evenly. Okay, so you know, just notice for you what's happening. Breathe into it. And then if you need to ease up a little bit, just lean forward, take a breather. Okay, if you find you need a little extra space between your feet, you can loosen the buckle a little bit, right? If you're dealing with bunions, that may be an issue for you. So take the feet a little bit further apart. Just don't be unreasonable about it, right? Okay, and then again, sit back, spend some time. This is not, for those for whom this is challenging, it can be not pleasant in the moment. So distract yourself, spend a little bit of time with it, breathe, and then take some breaks as needed. Okay, you can also release the toes, just unfold them so that they're not tucked under. Give a bit of a breather there. And then let's go for one more round. Okay, so really tuck the toes under. I find to get them really tucked under, I have to kind of lift my knees up like that. Okay, and then once they're tucked, can you go back? Try to land evenly with the hips. Breathe, be there. Let the weight descend into your buttocks. Broaden your collarbones, shoulders back, chest up. Okay, and then release. Okay, so here you can undo yourself, come out from your belt, and then just straighten your legs. Spread your toes, spread your toe mounds, and knees and thighs down. Dandasana. Iyengar Yoga for feet and ankles would not be complete if we didn't go through Virasana variations. Okay, so let's do that. Let's begin with this one here where you're kneeling on your shins here, and then place one foot down, and can you see I'm turning the angle, so that already is a challenge to the ankle, and then you're going to place the other foot on top. Okay, you can keep the knees together, and then pressing that top foot into the bottom foot, start to sit back. So now your own body weight, right, as you sit back, is starting to challenge the ankle, challenge the front of the foot there, right? Any muscles that are happening there may start to get a bit of a stretch. Okay, so we'll press your bottom foot into the floor, and then the top foot into the bottom foot, and with the help of your own body weight, descend into it and just receive that stretch. Okay, and be with that for a moment. Be there. Okay, and then slowly come up and then change it up. So now other foot goes on the bottom, and then you're placing the top foot over. Okay, the knees can be together, and you're challenging this ankle. Okay, sit back. And I'll show you also here from the front side. Okay, so you've got the 1 foot over, 1 foot under, and then the knees are together and you're sitting back. Okay, so let the weight of your own body, right, descend there, and then just feel the stretch that happens on the front of your foot, the arches, the ankles. Okay, and be here. We're gonna go through these fairly quickly, but really, you should spend some time. You should spend some time. Okay, bring yourself up. So now, similar thing, but we're gonna take the feet a little bit wider. Okay, so it's gonna look like this. From here, you come onto the side of the foot, right? And see if you can get the big toes just to touch, but I'm hitting the ankles out, right? The heel, inner heel to outer heel, ankle out. And then I try to sit back here, almost like inside the bucket of the feet. Okay, and be here. And again, your own body weight is the tool, right? Your own body weight is what's helping here to challenge the ankles. The ankles, the arches. Yeah, there's actually quite a lot that gets stimulated and exercised in a good way here. Okay. All right, and then again, come up. Okay, and in between your Virasana variations, you may find you want to stretch the leg out. Okay, you can just reach the foot back, open the back of the knee, and then bring it back in. And then again, extend. Okay, stretch the knee. Okay, we're not really doing a practice that's focused on the knee, but we do know that Virasana can be challenging on the knees here, so please be mindful of that. Okay, let's do full Virasana. Okay, and as I said, we're going fairly quickly through these holdings. I hope that you will practice them more and hold them for longer durations, either by pausing the video and doing that for a little bit longer, or just in your own timing, because duration is definitely part of this. Okay, for full Virasana, you may find you need a little bit of height under your buttocks, and so you'll work that out. In this presentation, knees are together and feet are just wider than the hips. So I actually like to start in this position like this, lift the shin bone just off the floor, reach into the second toe and slap down. Yeah. Do both sides, slap down so that you know that shin bone is really connected. Okay, and then you can take your hand, move the calf flesh back a little bit out, both sides, and then staying centered on your shin bone, sit back. Okay, and so for example, I know if I go too low, the shin bone starts to move around. But if I take just a little bit of height under my buttocks there, I can stay really nice and grounded. So see if you can work that out there for yourself. And settle here. Okay, press the tops of your feet down, press your ankles down, press your shins down. Anchor down through the corners of your hips, and then lift up through your chest. Okay, anchor down through the corners of your hips, and as if your head was attached to a hook on the ceiling, lengthen upward. Okay, breathe. Okay, again, pay attention to your foundation. So feel how you're touching the floor. Are you leaning into one side more than the other? Okay, can you feel which toes are touching, right? Is the small toe touching on both sides? And can you roll a little bit more weight towards that small toe side? And compare, right side, left side. Even yourself out. Okay, and then to spend a little bit of extra time here, let's do Badanguliasana. Okay, reach forward, interlace your fingers, turn your palms inside out, and then from the underside of your arm here, reach and raise your arms up. Now anchor down through your hips, but reach up through your wrists. Revolve your upper arms, so each shoulder blade goes broad, and then move your arms back. Yeah, reach up. Hips down, wrists up. Hips down, wrists up, move your arms back, open your chest. Breathe. Okay, release your arms, change the crossing, and go again. From the underside of your arm, reach and raise those arms up. Anchor down through your hips, reach up into your wrists. Again, take your focus to your base. Press the tops of your feet, your ankles, your shins, and then reach higher and higher. Okay, look up, see that the thumb, the index finger side is really lifted, and then move your arms back a little more. Breathe here. All right, and then release, lower your arms, rest for a moment, and then come up. Okay, so again, come up over yourself and just stretch your leg out. Okay, open the back of your knee. Press the knee up, thigh up, and then release it. Do the second side. Open the knee. And if you feel you need to do this for one more round, go ahead, of course. Okay. To end, take Shavasana, and it'd be really nice to put a little bit of weight on your knees. Okay, so if you have sandbags, that's really ideal. You can put one sandbag on each knee. If you don't, maybe you can try folding a blanket. So I've made it long and narrow and then just folded it in half, right? Because you want to place the weight, really sort of targeted over the knee, like that. So make sure that you create a shape with the blanket where that's, can happen, like that. So you're gonna have one on each knee, okay? And then lay yourself out for your Shavasana. Okay, and release completely. Okay, just let everything go. Let your feet, your ankles, everything fully relax. And then receive the weight on your knees. Okay, let your arms also be heavy and sink down. Okay, remember to just roll the shoulders under, get a little lift there to your chest. And then with the help of gravity, the arms, as the arms go down, the chest will lift a little more, just naturally. Okay, and then be here. Be here. Let the floor fully support you. And just take a few breaths. Thank you very much for today. I do hope you enjoyed that practice. And I look forward to seeing you on the mat again soon.